Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Hello.
Hey.
Friends. Family.
Gather around.
Family. You know what?
When you're here, you're family. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. We are the true Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Here. You know what? Actually, that feels right. Like, of all the podcasts, I feel like we are Olive Garden.
Yeah. Olive Garden, if you ever want to make a podcast, you have two willing and able co-hosts ready to go. Give us a ring.
Literally and figuratively.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Can
you imagine the bling that Olive Garden sends? Like a little ring that has the, like, soup salad. No, it's soup salad breadsticks. I would be obsessed with a little ring from Olive Garden, though.
Yeah, like, I would very much appreciate that.
It's just that Olive Garden screams, like, recession core to me, and so does all of our content.
Yeah.
And I feel like that feels like a perfect tie-in.
Yeah, I think we're a match made in heaven, personally, so.
Right. Hi.
Hey.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've spoken, where you weren't just sending me really affronting Stephenie Meyer references.
Listen.
Which I don't ask for.
No, but we have made a blood pact. 6 years ago.
It's honestly true.
And if I see something in my day-to-day life, in this case was I was reading a book and mentioned strawberry shampoo, it is my moral and, like, literal blood-given obligation to send that to you. Because otherwise, what is the point? I can't experience it by myself. You need to suffer too. So that's what we're doing here. Sorry, not sorry.
No, you don't need to apologize. It's I understand what I signed up for.
Yeah. I
know that. How are you?
Dude. I'm good. I'm feeling great. We're living La Vida Loca as of this moment.
Living La Vida unions, you know what I mean?
So true, always. Shout out HarperCollins and so many
Can
others.
We get that on merch really quick? Hey, someone?
Yeah. Ooh. Let's do it.
I feel like that's also relevant to our brand.
I know you've been clamoring. I know you've been on your toes waiting for me to bring up this particular show. Because I'll admit, I'm a little bit late to the game. But I'm here. I'm ready to talk about the Traitors.
It's just, everything about this is you.
Yes, it's extremely me-coded. A, Alan Cumming as the host, already sold.
You're in.
I'm in.
It
could be anything. And I'm like, yep, absolutely. Especially him in his natural Scottish accent. Yes, please.
Oh, God.
Thank you. And second of all, we just, it seemed like just yesterday I was talking about the fucking mole. And this is the same conceit to an extent.
But better.
But better. Because in this instance, it is like the mole in that there are people that are traitors, because it's called the Traitors, and they are actively not sabotaging specifically, but, like, trying to, like, fool other people into thinking they are not, the werewolf in sheep's clothing, right? But in this instance, different from the mole, you know who they are from the jump as a viewer.
Which makes it so much better.
Completely. Like, you get the strategy and you're, like, seeing the moves because, like, you can appreciate more what they're doing and how they're, like, coming across to other people because you know that they're working, like, different chess games in their brains. And it is delicious. I also appreciate, too, that there's, like, a mix of, like, just regular people and, like, reality TV celebrities. It's incredibly strange. Like, fucking Ari from The Bachelor is there for some reason. We got some Survivor players. We got people from Real Housewives. We got Kate from Below Deck, who is the sleeper hit like star of this season, I believe.
And then there's like Joe Schmo.
Right. And it's like this guy
just
works in marketing. It's like, okay. Great.
Yeah, and then there's like Kate, who you see at Dunkin' every day. Like there's just random people.
Yeah, it makes no sense. They don't really explain why it's done this way, but I love it. It's very good.
They had blackmail on the casting director. It had to be.
For real. But it's very good. They're like stuck in this like beautiful, large Scottish castle. And also, what is fun about this show too is that when they eliminate people, they call it a murder, right? And that's
right.
It's like funny the first time, but then like everyone takes it like very seriously in like their like confessionals, where they're just like, well, someone's gonna get murdered tonight. And it's like, guys, I know that this is like how this happens, but like nobody's actually dying, and it feels like you all feel like they are dying. Like the way that they talk about it is very intense.
I wonder if it's because of like two things. One is like The Bachelorette, where they're only allowed to say, you know, like journey. Like they have to use that language, right? Yeah. But also because they might have been secluded, that they just actually believe it. Like they're so in it at this point. And you know what? That's fair.
Hey,
if Alan Cumming said this stuff to me, I'd also be like, yeah, I'm in it.
Yeah.
This is real.
I'm not LARPing. This is real life. This is, if you die in the game, you die for real.
Right.
And also, one last, the show is so good. Most importantly, Alan Cumming is in a stunning outfit in every time you see him. It is truly blessed. There's like incredible like tartan pink blazers and like suits and like cute little hats. It's delicious. I'm a big fan.
It's so good for no reason, and that's why I love it.
Yeah, if you like watch The Mole and you're like, wasn't really feeling it, but like that kind of thing, this is the one.
I would say it reminds me of like the antithesis of what you were talking about last week.
Yes.
Like, bad reality television, and this is like good shit.
Yeah, I'm healing my inner child, aka me, a week ago. And I am refilling my life with laughter and love. So how are you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm alive.
Great.
My happy thing this week is a little galaxy brain.
Okay.
So stick with me on this one.
Sure.
It's going to come off very like I'm like a stoner playing with a hacky sack thing, but I'm just aggressively sober.
Yeah.
It's just how my brain works.
Yeah.
So I'm still rewatching Criminal Minds.
Sure.
Because that's how I do.
Yeah.
And then I came across my happy thing, which is well-cast younger versions of characters.
Okay.
And this is often, I'm seeing it in a television show.
Sure.
But it's also in movies. So the reason why I thought of this in Criminal Minds was I got to the episode. One of my personal favorites that always makes me really sad, which is when, notably, if you've watched Criminal Minds before, Jason Gideon, who is played by Mandy Patinkin, his younger version in the show is played by Love of My Life, Ben Savage. And it's such a, like, wild pull, but it works perfectly.
Yeah, I love those ones where it, like, makes so much sense. And you're like, I wouldn't even think of that, but it's perfect.
But it's perfect, right? And so it got me thinking about, like, one, when this goes really poorly.
Sure.
Because I think that that's when I tend to notice it. But also when it works out really well. And so I went down this deep dive of shows and movies that I've seen, and also ones I haven't, where I know folks have talked about this before. Things like McKenna Grace, who did Sabrina and the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think, if I remember correctly, she was also in Mad Men.
Yes, I believe
too.
so.
Which, like, goddamn.
Oof, the range.
Right, exactly. And then one of my other favorite shows, This Is Us, does a ton of flashbacks.
Yeah.
And so I found that their casting is also really good. Not just the teenage versions, but also like the child versions of some of their characters too.
Totally.
The other one that came to mind was Euphoria. Because they did, I think it was last season, they did like the kid versions of like Maddie.
Oh, yeah. Those were really spot on.
Which was really good.
Yeah.
And then the other one that immediately came to mind for me was, and I know this doesn't hit for you, because you still haven't seen it, but Haunting of Hill House. This is like an integral part of the show, is the kids' version of each character, and it's so chef's kiss in there. Oh, and the other one I wanted to bring up was in New Girl. Because they have Cece and Jess, the younger versions of them that I thought were really cute.
Ugh.
So, it's a very, like large concept.
Yeah.
But I think that for me, when I'm watching television, if it's not done well, it's hard to stay in it.
Yeah.
So, when it's done well, I appreciate it a lot.
That's such, like, a fun way to watch things, of being like, oh, how do they, like, or, like, thinking about casting and stuff, right? Of what the vibe is to get it right and stuff, and, like,
right,
how it make it, even if they don't, like, look exactly like each other, which is kind of a big part of it, but it's, like, the actual essence of it, especially for, like, a child actor, is pretty nutty.
And I feel like now, like, one, that would be such a fun job.
Yeah.
To try and figure out younger versions of characters. Because I remember when I used to watch, Once Upon a Time, which...
Oh my god.
That was a thing. They did that a ton. But I feel like now it's probably a lot easier than I imagine it was, like, 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
When you would just have, like, headshots of people.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck? What are you supposed to do with this? Especially for kids, right? Who grow so fast. But anyways, it got me thinking about it and how much that has occurred throughout. And it's just something that I really enjoy about media.
Yeah.
So
Big
there
fan.
you go. We have 3 very important pieces of current events.
God.
Would you like to start out with the one that made you... I could hear you scream from across the country.
I dropped my phone. I ran around the block. I did a split and a somersault. Fuck. Pew, pew, pew. We have Case 2 Corner. Pew, 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 pew. I want to stress that every part of this is tailored specifically to me. And I don't know what happened. I don't know what, alien probed my brain or something. But this seems a little fucked up. This seems a little too close to home. Variety has reported, thank you, William Earl, that Kristen Stewart is going to be playing Susan Sontag in a meta biopic from one of my favorite filmmakers of all time, Kirsten Johnson. Every level of this.
It's just one of those, like... How did they know?
How did they know? Are they in my diary? Like, what's happening? Like, how do they... And it's one of those casting things that, like, I probably never would have predicted, but now that it's, like, in my face, I'm like, oh, a fucking course. Like, now that Casey's kind of in her era of, like, okay, let's play a famous, interesting lady to maybe get an Oscar nomination. I'm here for it. This makes sense.
If her doing Diana didn't do it.
Right.
Right? Which, like, again, we got a nom. That's not nothing.
Right. No, for sure.
And this isn't Keisu's first,
No.
right? She's done several, like, biopics before.
Right.
How does this not do it?
Right.
Is my question.
Yeah.
When this was announced yesterday, I don't think it's a coincidence that a piece of the sun literally fell off.
It's all connected. Okay.
I don't think it's a coincidence that the sun was also like, okay,
God,
I also cannot handle this. This is too big of news.
Yeah, retweet, son. I get it. We all need a little bit of a break to process. And that's okay.
I just feel like I didn't expect when we did our bingo card, but I'm so happy to be wrong, that K-Stew is only getting better. Like fine wine.
Right.
Like, her projects that she's choosing are so out there, but they make complete sense.
Yeah. Ugh.
And I love her and I'm proud of her.
Yeah. I can't wait.
On the opposite end of news, Robert, we don't have film news right now.
No. We'll
update you when we have it. We do have real estate news, though.
Fuck yeah. Welcome back, baby. Zillow o'clock.
In a shocking turn of events, thank you, Vogue Australia.
Yes.
Robert has purchased a almost $8 million home in the Hollywood Hills. And it's beautiful, which I didn't expect for him.
Right. Yeah, given his taste level of most things.
His taste level is so out there. And this is, like, very Tuscan, very Spanish revival. Like,
yeah.
It's
got, like, a
gorgeous.
nice little staircase, outdoor staircase. There's got all these little balconies. And it's not, like, a big, fancy McMansion. It's just, like, a nice house. Like, it looks really cool. And, like, unique.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely big.
Yeah,
but we've
for sure.
seen... I mean, listen, it's a Hollywood Hills, right? Like, this could be massive.
Right, totally.
In comparison to that, this looks like something people could actually live in.
Yeah, completely.
And not just a... What am I trying to say? Not just, like, something that you would see on, like, Selling Sunset, where they're just having a party in it, right?
Yeah, right. This actually feels like a place that people could vibe in. Not just like,
right.
This is a charcuterie place where we go to this
and
big
that's
pool.
what shocked me, is that it looks like you could live in it. Like, it looks comfortable. And that is not usually the case with a lot of celebrity homes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's a lot of props to the styling with these, because this is definitely not their stuff yet, since they just bought it.
Yeah.
But it looks fun. I wouldn't leave this. It has everything you need.
No, yeah. This is a good time.
It's so much money.
Yes.
I don't understand. And I'm always, like, pleasantly surprised when celebrities are like, no, we don't need 10 bathrooms and 8 bedrooms. We're just going to get a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bathroom home.
Right.
Sounds
great.
It's a lot. Like, that's a lot, but that's a normal...
It's a normal celebrity.
Home.
Yeah. Hell.
Right. I'm so excited to talk to you about this next piece of news.
Yes.
My love, Penn Badgley.
He's back.
He is. He is back. His first couple episodes dropped. Recently shared on Podcrushed more about why season 4 has taken more of a mystery turn than the past 3 seasons, which was very Caroline doing, like, all sex romance stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And we had talked about this too, being like, we don't mind the change, but also why.
Right.
I watched the clip that they had posted on TikTok from the podcast, and Penn, like a typical Scorpio, had a conversation with Sarah Gamble and was like, hey, I don't really want to be known for just all sex scenes. And also, it's really important to my marriage to have fidelity. And obviously, like, sex scenes are, if you have an intimacy coordinator, I guess I should say.
Right.
They are acting.
Yes.
Like,
right.
They are supposed to be acting.
Yeah.
But he made it very clear when he talked to Sarah of, like, I don't want this anymore.
Yeah.
And Sarah was like, okay, bet. So they got to the point of, like, how little sex scenes can we have in the new season? And that is where they were able to come up with this idea of, like, more mystery.
Right.
Less sex. And I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. No, I think it's interesting. I like, too, in this conversation, he kind of was like, from the beginning, that was something that he wasn't really interested in, you know? And it
Yeah.
took until, like, kind of this pivot to, like, because it's so much of it, obviously, is, like, horny, right? Like, that's so much of, like, the bread and butter of the show, and his, like, sex appeal, right? But I like that, like, he kind of did it in the way that he was, like, you know, I've grappling with, like, what it means to be, like, you know, a sex icon, or, like, you know, a romantic lead, right? Of, like, all those things. Like,
Right.
what it means to be that character kind of also are scenes like that.
100%. I think that this is a conversation that I would love to see more actors communicating about.
Yeah.
I also love, there's such a stereotype with Scorpios of, like, oh, they only want sex. They only want to be, like, alluring and sexy. And then, like, Penn is showing what actual Scorpios are like, which is, I don't want that. I
Yeah.
have one relationship. I just want to be committed. Please don't perceive me ever.
Yeah. And
Thank
honestly, understandable.
I'm really nervous to talk about these chapters with you today.
Dude.
Dude!
What the
The way that I literally cried
Yeah.
reading these,
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
We were, you know, this whole book we were building up to something. And mind you, we are only halfway through. So this is a real testament
That's
to
what makes me so nervous.
what's going on. But we really built up to something here. And this was a full falling action to, like, not even a climax as we're halfway through, but, like, incident that we've been, oof, man. God.
So, here's what you missed on Glee.
Yes.
Rose is still in timeout with Hans.
Right.
Christian crashed Lissa's birthday party / visit to New College. She's doing Bama Rush.
Yes.
And also they're doing, like, a covert with the new Guardians of, like, ha, we're royals and we know nothing. Teach us how to defend ourselves against Dragoy, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
In their Marriott Inns and Suites.
Yes. Right.
So there's pillows everywhere. After Bama Rush, I remember Lissa went with the whole crew to Applebee's. They had a beautiful fancy dinner, and then afterwards, Dimitri and his Strigoi minions killed everyone.
Yeah.
Saved Lissa and Christian.
Right.
And then he was like, lol, I'm not going to kill you because I want Rose to come to me. Bwahaha. Happy birthday, bitch.
Yeah. What
And
a
then
cool
the
way.
chapter ended.
This poor girl's 18th birthday. Is how she's
Lissa
spending.
can never have a good birthday, and that's so fucked up.
Yeah, it's really rude and traumatizing. We hate to see it.
All I want at the end of this is for, I guess with the timing, they wouldn't be able to go to one of those, like, trampoline places. Can Alyssa just go to, like, a fucking laser tag place and have a really nasty, like, grocery cake?
Yeah.
And it be really happy and cute. That's all I want.
Yeah. It's what she deserves.
Please.
It's fucked up.
She just deserves a happy, safe birthday.
Right.
Please and thank you.
The bare minimum.
I'll also settle for bowling. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, if anyone here that listens to this is inclined to write fan fiction, give us that one shot, please. We need it to heal
Please
our
and thank
souls.
I'm all right, so I'm nervous, but please tell me about chapter 15.
So chapter 15, everyone's stressed. Rose is obviously freaking out because she saw all of this in the last chapter.
Sure.
She saw all of the murders and stuff and was like, what the fuck is happening? And so she's like, I gotta fucking bolt. I gotta get to
Right.
Lehigh. I gotta, like, figure this out. And is just, like, trying to find anyone to, like, talk to and figure out and whatever. Like, who could she, like, express this to and, like, not feel like she's losing her mind,
Yes.
right? And she's obviously, like, internally battling herself and being like, this is your fault. Like, you did this, you know, and you're the only one who can do this and stop this because it's Dimitri. And that's the, you know, the Jokerification of, like, all of this. Like, you're the only one that can stop this, right? And then she runs to Mikhail our sweet boy, our sweet summer child. And she's like full of adrenaline. She's like trying to be like, we have to get out of here. We have to get help. Like, what's going? And Mikhail's always like, what the fuck is happening? And Rose like,
Mikhail sees Rose having down like empty 4-hour energy bottles next to her, and he's like, girl, how long have you been down here?
Yeah, she's getting like
what's
her eyes are wild, and he's like, what is going on? And she's
Rose looks feral.
Yes, literally feral. It's like, it's Lissa, it's Christian. We gotta go. Something's happening. We gotta go. And she's like, I can't do this. You're not on my level of acceleration and adrenaline. I gotta find someone else. And turns out folks already know what's going on, because the like whole like lobby, like outdoor, like indoor space is like chaotic. Like everyone's running, everyone's trying to like figure shit out. They're screaming, like things are going wild. And Rose is like, what? Did I miss something? Or are we on the same page here? What's going on? So she goes to Hans and is like, I know what's going on. Like, I know you think I'm a fool and you don't have time for my shit, but like, we have, I know what's going on. And he's like, oh, Bet, you have the bond. You actually are useful for once in your life, in my mind. And I was just like, I saw it happen. Like, how do you even know this happened? And Hans is kind of like, well, Serena called, and we don't know if she is dead, but she was definitely seemed close to it when she contacted us and this was happening. So, Serena, TBD. We don't know her status as of this moment. God.
Shockingly about this, though.
Yeah.
Because Rose immediately, at the start of this chapter, was like, damn, I miss Alberta.
Yeah.
Which made me very sad.
God, yeah.
But in this moment, Rose is like, has a new respect for Hans. Mm-hmm. Because she's like, he's an asshole. Yeah. But he is a leader. Mm-hmm. And he notices that I'm an asset to him. So he's not going to leave me behind. He's going to take me along.
Right.
Which I honestly did not. It was a 50-50 for me with Hans of whether or not he was going to bring her along or not.
Right. Because like it could have just been, thanks for the intel, but bye. Which is something that she brings up later. That's like, that is usually what happens. Where it's like, she has this like tool, but they're not going to utilize her to her potential of it or take her seriously as a fighter. But in this case, they do. They're like, fuck, we need everyone. And you especially. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, God. Like, all these Guardians are happening. They're getting all their teams together. Tasha's there. Love to see it. Everyone's, freaking out. And obviously, now that Kristen is, like, abducted, it's, like, a different level of, like, glad you're here, but also, oh, God, we have to do this.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, Hans says that they're assembling teams right now.
Right. And
so everyone is, like, scrambling to these garages. And all I saw in my mind was, like, the garages in Twilight. Like, they're
oh my God, yeah.
stocked.
Yeah.
And the weird thing about this is, like, naturally everyone is running around and stuff. But Adrian shows up.
Yes.
And Rose is like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, why are you here? And she, throughout all of this, is like, how does everyone know this so fast?
Right. Yeah, I was like, why do you all...
Not recognizing that, like, the Lissa, who she knows but doesn't remember, like, is the last of her line and is a royal, is gone.
Right.
Christian is a part of a royal family, is gone.
Right.
We have a ton of Guardians and who are in limited numbers right now, are gone or dead.
Right.
And Priscilla was like the right-hand man of the queen. So it's like, these are all VIPs.
Right. Yeah. It's like all business, all big hitters.
Right. And they're theoretically like air tags just dropped off. And they're like, fuck, we need to go.
Like, uh-oh.
Last location, Applebee's. Like, we need to go.
Yeah. Yeah, and even the queen is kind of in like a lockdown moment right now because of all this stuff. There's like a lot of like external things happening of like processes of shutting shit down and like protecting the rest of the vulnerable people. It reminds me
like in the show of how it's almost like a like a tornado warning. Like it's like a sound that goes off. Mm-hmm. And even though Lehigh is like tens of miles away or something, they're like, we don't know if there could be another attack coming by. Like, we can't take this chance.
No, right. And Rose and Adrian kind of have a nice conversation here of, obviously, Rose is like, it's Dimitri, I have to go. And
right.
Adrian's like, you can't, it's a trap. And she's like, I know that. And he knows that I know that, you idiot. Like, obviously, that's the whole thing. It's not going to end unless this. I gotta kill him. And Adrian's like, okay, I'm glad you've, like, come to this realization. This is the end. Whatever. And Rose is kind of snarky of, like, are you that eager to get rid of your competition? And it's like, Rose, there are bigger things happening here. but
she's just such a taut rubber band right now.
Yes, completely. But he does have a nice moment where he's like, like, as long as he's alive, or like, a Strigoi and around, you're going to be in constant danger, and it's going to come for everyone. Right. And like, you can't live your life like being chased forever like this. Like, you got to put it to an end. That's the only way this works. And like, I want you to be safe. And it was like very sweet.
It sucks so bad.
Yeah, it's these two,
especially because like it feels like in this moment Adrian doesn't know if Rose wants to come back.
Right. Yeah.
And that sucks.
Right. Because like, he's seen her leave before for the same guy, mm-hmm. and the same intentions to kill him.
And she didn't really want to come back that time either.
No. So it's always kind of like, they're always operating on like borrowed time, It's just like,
fuck.
Like, it's like, there's only like that sliver of moments until it's like, well, there's always going to be this thing around the corner that might just be the end of it, Woof.
Especially when it's like, I don't know if he well, that's not true. I think he knows more than she realizes at this time.
Yeah.
That like, he is the second choice.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. God,
sucks so bad.
I hate it here.
Especially when like they do finally get into all of these like SUVs, and it's hard for Rose to not remember the last time that she was in an SUV like this, and it was almost exactly like going into a same trap,
right?
Like this last time.
God.
And naturally, Hans, who is less of an asshole at this point and is more so like, I don't think he's asking this to be an asshole. I think he's just like, hey, like, can you do this?
Right. Like, are you not even like, just physically capable, but like, can you mentally handle this? Like,
yeah. Which I think is a good question. And I don't even know if Rose really knows the answer at this point.
No. But she like plays cool
it's just like
in the Guardian way, and, like, does a little nod, and it's just like, okay, head towards Lehigh, and I'll figure out how to direct you when we get closer.
Right. We do find out, and this didn't surprise me, but it is good to have confirmation that Rose is able to do the Bond Babe, and Lissa and Christian have not been harmed.
Yeah.
They've obviously been, like, a little tousled around, but they have not been, like, intentionally harmed or, like, attacked.
Right, yeah. They're just, like, in, wooden chairs. Their hands are bound with rope. They're just kind of, like, chilling. Obviously, it's, like, scary, because there's a bunch of Strigoi that are just kind of, like, bitching around them. But they are not, like, there's no attempts at torture. There's no attempts at any material harm. They're just kind of waiting in this limbo.
Right. It feels to Rose a lot like, and I keep forgetting this because of how many books we read, but it was last winter for her when they were in Spokane.
Right. Yeah.
And she's like, hey, this feels a little too familiar, which is fucked up.
Don't love this. God.
It is clear when Rose is tapping in that all of the Strigoi, save Dimitri, are... They remind me of the, like, hyenas in The Lion King who are just, like, just no thoughts. They're just, like, barking.
Yeah.
Like, they have nothing to do.
Yeah.
And Dimitri's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like...
It's like, this is my thing. You guys are just gonna have to
Yeah.
sit around and babysit these guys for a second. Like, you're not gonna get to do anything fun. This is my journey. This is my little treat adventure. And fuck you. Okay?
Yeah.
And they're just like, you don't ever let us
And
do
he's like,
anything.
don't argue with me.
Right.
I know the Guardians are coming. I know Rose is coming. And then he does what I would argue is the scariest thing he's seen. No, maybe not the scariest.
Yeah.
But, because, like, what he did in Russia to Rose was, like, really fucked up and malicious. But this was one of the scariest things he's done so far.
Yeah.
Of using Lissa as, like, a conduit.
Right.
To communicate with Rose.
Yeah, because obviously Rose is, like, seeing through Lissa's eyes, and Dimitri looks deep into Lissa's eyes, and it's like, I know you're in there, you know, and, like, spooks the bejesus out of her, obviously. Like, it's not that even he can, which we assume he cannot, but, like, he is, using the idea and the assumption that she is obviously looking. And, like, making sure what the scenario is and if they're safe. That he just, like, plays into that and, like, puts on a show and, like, makes her feel really freaked out. Which, I hate it. I hate it.
It's so scary.
It's really gross. And woof. Ugh. God.
The idea, too, of, like, not only is that terrifying to Rose, who is so powerless in this moment, but also to literally objectify Lissa like that.
Yeah,
Sir?
right. It's like you're just a meat vessel for, like, Rose's brain, which is so fucked up.
The fact that when he did this, too, he was, like, he had his fingers, like, around Lissa's throat.
Yeah.
And could have, like, snapped her neck. He could have, like, drained her. And instead, like, that's scary enough as it is, but to instead just use her to talk to Rose, it's like, you're so nasty.
Yeah.
You're such a nasty dude, and I don't like you at all.
Yeah, we hate it. We hate to see it. I'm not a fan. It's gross. And then she kind of, like, breaks out, like, shudders out of the vision, because she's like, I can't fucking do that. That's not gonna put me in a good headspace for this. And Tasha kind of, like, looks over and sees that she's really stressing out, and it's like, what did you see? And she just kind of, like, Rose kind of, you know, shakes her head and doesn't even, like, avert her eyes to her, and it's just like, my worst nightmare coming true.
Which, like, all right, Rose, a little melodramatic.
Yeah, a little drama, but
when Tasha has her nephew there too,
right?
You could have made it clear that, like, they're still alive.
Yeah, you could have been like, they're safe, they're there, it's fine. Like, that's your literal blood, but, like, whatever. So maybe a bit more communicative next time, Rose. But I get it. You're kind of in a frazzled emotional state. That's right. Okay.
I mean, it's valid, but also, could you confirm for Tasha that Christian's still alive?
Right.
Thanks.
That would be just a nice thing to do, you think? Perhaps.
Because, you know, Tasha was like, hello?
Right. It's like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Right.
God. Chapter 16.
Operation Extraction. Operation Mission Impossible.
Operation Mission Impossible. And unlike other chapters that we've read, like, that have a lot more lead up to it, like, we're in it. Like, it is fast and ready. Like, it is not like, you know, 3 chapters of preparation for a heist or something. We are
Hans doesn't have time for that.
No, Hans is on a booked and busy, expedited schedule here. We're going. So, we're still plotting. We're still planning. Rose is trying to, like, imagine how many Strigoi and waves of Strigoi they're going to be. She didn't get, like, a clear look. She has, like, certain ideas from the room, but obviously could not see the entirety of the situation. And so kind of makes a good guess of, like, 3, because she saw 2, and she's like, it's probably more than 2. So let's just say 3. That seems like a good one.
Right.
So they kind of plan for that, of, like, different waves of Guardians in that sort of order to, like, make that happen.
And this is always the hard part when it's Rose and Dimitri fighting is because Rose was trained by Dimitri, their fighting styles are nearly identical.
Right. Yeah.
So she's like, what would I do? What was I trained to do? It'd probably be, like 3 rounds in here.
Yeah.
And has to share that stuff with Han so that they can go in and try to extract them.
So they like pull up and they're at a point where there's no Strigoi posted anywhere, so like they at least have, obviously not the element of surprise because he knows they're coming, but like they at least have something to lean on, which is good. And the plan is that they will all kind of like go in there, and Rose's priority will be Lissa and Kristen and Dimitri, and the rest will like fuck around with the other Strigoi. In addition to Lissa, like kind of assisting.
I know why Hans did that. But it's only going to give Rose more guilt because she is the one who has to be like, ignore all of my other guardians falling down beside me.
Right.
My only mission is to try to get like to the middle of this.
Yeah.
And that sucks so bad.
Right. It's like, get rid of all of your instincts and feelings and now go into this very traumatizing emotional and physical state in a totally separate fight. Great. Very fun.
I mean, it does work. Like, these multiple rounds, she was right, of, like, there's multiple waves of them.
Right. And it, like, is a good plan that is working. Like, they're getting shit done. There's, like, a bit more, there's, like, there's actually 4 waves of Strigoi, so they kind of miscalculated that, but it's not, like, a full boon to the entire mission. Like, it's not incredibly a big casualty of everything. Oh, gosh.
And then just all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
In this one room. Because she finally gets in there and, like, sees Lissa and Kristen.
Right.
And there are, I think, 4 Strigoi in there plus Dimitri.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just too many bodies in such a small room.
Yeah. It's not a great setup.
And there's just so much fighting outside of them. Right. And naturally Rose and Dimitri are like trying to fight, but like there's no room. They don't have physical room.
No. And even before she like kind of like when she gets into the room and stuff, she has this like internal thought that's like, one of them dies tonight, Lissa or Dimitri. And that shit hurt. That shit fucked up. Because in this moment, that is the exact truth of her being. And it's obviously a struggle that she's had earlier of, like, protecting one or the other. Obviously now it's in a totally different context. But this is, like, the thought and the guilt that has been here forever of her priorities. Right. And now she's like, let's fucking go. Let's kill this motherfucker. Right.
That she's been trying to, like, literally pull herself apart to avoid.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I don't have a choice.
Right. And especially, like, leading up to this, she's, like, kind of in autopilot. She's not thinking about it. She's, like, helping the other folks and doing all these things. But now she's, like, in game mode.
This sucks so bad.
Oh, my God.
Dimitri's doing the, like, stereotypical villain thing.
Yeah.
Where he's talking a lot.
Yes, it's like full monologues. It's like, you look really beautiful in battle, like an avenging angel, delivering justice, like all of these, like, not even back and forth. Like, Rose is kind of talking back, but it's more Dimitri just doing a diatribe for a while everyone's just kind of like standing and like, what the fuck is going on? What's gonna happen? We also noticed
says something that confirms what she has been saying to herself for really a year now.
Yeah.
Which is, all this death is because of you.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you had let me awaken you, none of this would have happened. Like, we'd still be in Russia together. Mm-hmm. And all of your friends would be safe. And none of them would have died. This is your fault.
Right. Which, fuck. Sucks.
Like, it's incorrect, but it's also rude.
Right. Yeah, it's wrong on 2 different levels, morally and factually. Meanwhile, while this is happening, Rose also kind of
Kristen is flying across the room.
Yeah, well, before that, we see that Lissa is like, hey, bestie, can you, who I'm not in love with, can you do a little sizzle here? Can you just do a little burn? Can you just do a little burn here? Because they're literally just bound by rope, which I don't know why. I feel like when Rose was in Russia, like, the security was a lot better in terms of, like, not being allowed to move at all. I feel like with rope, we're kind of like skirting this a little bit. Like, what are we expecting
Especially here? Because, like, Dimitri knows
right
that Christian has firepower. He used it literally a couple hours ago on him.
Right. And it's not like you can be under the pretense of, like, oh, they don't really use it to fight, like, they're gonna be fine. Like, that's kind of what they were talking about earlier with the other Strigoi that were pissed off. They're like, they're useless, they're not gonna do anything, they're not gonna put up a fight.
Right.
But it's like, homie, y'all just saw this, so, like, I don't understand what the disconnect is here, but whatever.
Christian does it for fun.
Yeah, right.
So
exactly, canonically.
Right.
And so Dimitri and Rose are, like, you know, sizing each other up, whatever, fighting and stuff, while he's doing this, like, guilty monologue or whatever.
It's very Shakespearean. They're mostly just walking in circles around each
other. Yeah, literally, yeah. It's like they're doing, like, a tango sort of situation of just, like, dancing around each other. And then Christian fucking goes flying, slams his chair into a Strigoi, and also is just going balls to the walls. Like, Christian kind of gets, like, a little outmatched by the Strigoi, but he is out. He is, like, ready to fight. He's on the ground.
And Lissa's out of her chair, too.
Right. Yes.
And Rose sees out of the corner of her eye that Lissa, and this is because of those fucking four Strigoi who were bad at their job. Lissa has a fucking stake in her hand.
Like, what is happening in the breaches of security?
Did they not do
here?
a pat down?
Yeah. Also, lest we forget, these people, less than a few days ago, broke into a maximum security prison. Are we forgetting this?
Right.
Why are we being so lax with imprisonment? What's happening? So yeah, Lissa's a stake, and Rose is like, motherfucker. Like, this is my chance. Like, I'm right here. I am in the, like, ability and the, like, the aiming to, like, get this done once and for all. Nobody's even paying attention and, like, giving a shit outside of this. And y'all are just gonna do this now?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And it's like, there's so many people, other guardians fighting Strigoi in this room.
Yeah.
Rose is trying to watch Dimitri and watch Lissa and Christian. And now she has to worry about Lissa carrying, like, a figurative kitchen knife right now.
Yeah.
It's like the last thing she needs.
She's like, can we just get this done, please? I can't do this anymore. No more hesitation. Wink, wink. Okay? God.
Dimitri's also being rude because he's like, your fucking friends fight like 10-year-olds.
Right. It's like, come on, man. Like, I know, okay? They're not, this is not their training, okay?
Right. They're trying their best.
Yeah,
so
they're trying their best,
alone.
and I'm not going to let them do anything, because I'm going to kill you right the fuck now. But that doesn't happen.
No.
She is, like, ready to go. She's like, it's right here. Like, Dimitri's a little bit distracted with all of this hubbub. Like, I got this.
And she's not hesitating.
No.
This time.
She isn't. And she's like, it's right here. I got this. It's like seconds away. Like a heartbeat away. And then she gets fucking slammed out of her
like
way.
A fucking... Christian comes through like a linebacker.
Yeah, literally.
And just takes her down.
Yeah. And Lissa and Christian are revealed to obviously have kind of shoved her out of the way, mostly Christian.
Right.
And Dimitri
now,
is like shocked.
To her fear,
yeah,
Lissa is standing in front of Dimitri with a stake in her hand.
It's like, girl, don't. You're gonna die. This is not the moment. This is not the vibe. And, you know, we see that this, like, the stake is charmed. Like, it has a little bit of, like, you know, sparkle emojis coming outside of it or whatever. And she's, like, trying so hard to, like, focus and get an aim right and, like, figure it out. But she's, like, there's no way she can, like, get near him at this moment. That's like not, she doesn't have the dexterity and the vibes and the fastness to like get there as in the same way that Rose would.
And Rose realizes with horror that Lissa pulled some fucking End of Breaking Dawn Part 2 bullshit on Rose and had kept something from her through the bond.
Oh, right.
Which was Lissa managed to charm the stake with spirit.
Right.
And had been so good in her like last practice with Grant and Serena that she knows now how to fight with her stake.
Right. Which Rose
this
is like,
motherfucker.
Yeah. Working overtime with the the bond and the compulsion. It's incredible shit. And so she's like, what the fuck is happening here? Please stop. Like, don't do this. And Kristen chimes in with a little fire circle. Okay.
Again, small room. Yeah. There's still other people fighting in here. And now there's like a wall of flame.
They're like shoved in a corner of this tiny room. And now there's a huge ring of fire totally consuming Dimitri from the bottom. And Lissa's vibing. Lissa's just there and it's like, all right, bitch, let's go. And Rose is obviously freaking the fuck out. It's like, if you don't even get this, because I don't think you have the range to do this, you're gonna just burn alive. And this is not how anything, like, just let him like fire, like burn up if that's the thing here. Let's not even play this game because it's very dangerous. And I don't think you can do it. And Lissa
and Miss Ma'am,
yeah,
just decides like, oh, I'm just gonna stick my arm through these flames.
Yep.
To stake Kristen, or to not stake Kristen.
Oh my god, could you imagine?
Stake Dimitri.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Dimitri obviously is like totally defenseless. He is burning like a crisp right now. And it's just like, what the fuck? It's like can't really like see very well through it. And Lissa, bless her heart, is trying a lot of times to get there. Like, she's
the first time like didn't go through all the way.
Yeah, it didn't go through. And she just kind of like pushing and pushing. Meanwhile, Rose in the background like, motherfucker, I wish I could just like push her into it. Like, I know I can't, that's not how it works. I can't like put my hand on it, but like need an assist here. And Lissa, like, at one point it like kind of falls out a little bit because like it just wasn't inside enough. But she's like hacking at it. She's really going in and she's like, I'm gonna do this. Even if I die right now, like, I'm gonna try and do this and see if it works. And we got it.
I'll be damned. Like, after 5 or so tries,
right, she
finally gets it.
Yeah, it actually does hit and pierce his heart. God.
Rose, at this point, through the bond, says that it feels like there is lightning in the room.
Yeah. It's like 100 times more powerful than, like, anything in the bond of, like, pain and joy or whatever that she feels from Lissa. It's, like, tenfold.
There's, like, I think she even says it's like someone had dropped the sun in the middle of the room because there was so much, like, white light that burst out around Lissa at this time. And everyone else that's not the 5 of them is like, hello?
Right, what is happening?
And then apparently it was just gone, like, after a second it was gone.
Right. It just totally disappears. Not even like a fade or anything. It's just like, boop, it's gone. And now they see, like, the damage and the rubble and kind of stuff from the fire. There's, like, black smudges everywhere. You know, the ceilings are covered. There's, like, still
fucking
a bit of smoke kind of, like, lingering about. But, you know, Rose is also like, there probably should have been more given the size and the longevity of this fire. But there's kind of more pressing things at hand in front of them. And that Lissa and Dimitri are just on the floor. And, you know, they're really burned. Like, there are huge burns. There's, like, Lissa at one point has, like, on her hands, like, there's, like, blood where, like, it's 3rd degree, like, goes super deep in there. They both look pretty rough. And Lissa is stroking Dimitri's hair as this is happening. And his head is like in her lap. She's just like really being like nurturing. It's like very, healing kind of energy and vibes. And Rose kind of compares her because she was like, well, Dimitri said that I was the angel, but it seems like Lissa is doing that right now. And she's like, well, he's probably dead. He's probably burnt to a crisp. She's probably just doing this to like, condolences, say goodbye, whatever. But he has nothing. Like, there's no burns. There's no, like, any harm on his body at all. And his eyes are not red. He's back. He's not a Strigoi. And he's crying. Weeping, one could say. Motherfucker. Ferrero. Playing with our heartstrings. The impossible was done. And we may or may not have real Dimitri back. To some extent.
All of his scars are gone. Yeah. His skin is warm and tan. Yep. His eyes are brown.
Yep.
And he's alive, ?
Yeah.
And we just have to end.
Yeah. Gotta wait a week for this. It's fucked up. It's fucked up.
I did not... That is not how I thought. I was fully ready to say goodbye to him.
Yeah.
I've mourned him multiple times now.
Yeah. You can't keep getting away with this, Ferrero.
Do you think... Here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that his memory's gone. I'm afraid it's one of those, like, amnesia plots that they do in TV. That's what I'm afraid of. It's like, is he new? That's what I'm scared of.
Right, like, what happens to his memory? What happens
but
to...
Like, which would be painful, but would it be more painful if he remembers everything?
Right. And who he really was when he was a Strigoi.
Right. So maybe it would almost be like a kindness.
Right.
Fuck, man. I don't know. So, chapter 17 and 18 are next week. And now the world has changed because now this is real. Like, this magic exists now. And that poses a lot of questions. You know who I'm really excited for them to tell is Mikhail.
Oh my god. That's gonna ruin me. That's gonna break me. I can't.
Now that he knows it exists. Oh no. Okay. We have some amazing patrons to thank. Would you like to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Katie Black.
Ooh, thank you to Kylie Minty.
Ooh. Thank you to Alex Dornan.
Ooh, thank you to Mulch Gray.
Mulch! Thank you to Jasmine Anastasia.
Ooh, thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ow! Thank you to Cassandra O'Shea.
O'Shea. Thank you to Katya Carp.
Ow! Thank you to Hope Castile.
Ooh, thank you to Rachel Ashford. Come on down.
Thank you to Vivian Yulee.
Ooh. Thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Ow. Thank you to Samara Rinaldi.
Ooh. Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ow. Thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ooh. Thank you to my mom, your mom, our mom, Kelly Beck.
Mom. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh. Thank you to Lara Forty.
Ow. Thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Ooh. Thank you to Marita Swan.
Pew pew pew. Thank you to India Peach.
Ooh. Thank you to Emily Ozera.
Ow. Thank you to Jaylene Ivashkov.
Ooh. And last but certainly not least, thank you to Ashlyn Vogel.
Pew, 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 pew.
I have a fan fiction for you today that was written by the user Cherry Pixie 27.
Slay.
And is titled Hold Me in Your Heart.
Amazing.
The summary is Rose asked Dimitri if he had ever been in love before her, and he opens up about an aspect of his past that he has never shared with anyone. This is a one-shot.
Amazing.
So there are no chapters. But I will read this for you now. Retweet. Okay. Okay. Have you ever been in love? Before me, I mean. She was lying sprawled on his chest, his fingers idly playing with her hair. His hand froze at her words, and Rose rolled slightly off of him so that she could see his face, still keeping as much of their bare skin in contact as possible. They hadn't bothered with clothing after falling into bed together the night before. What made you ask that? Dimitri hedged, knowing Rose would know he was stalling. They had discussed their past sexual experiences with each other. His was a bit more extensive due to his age, but Rose knew that he hadn't had any serious relationships before her. I was just remembering some of our earlier conversations together, and some just stuck out. You had said something to me about being younger, with less experience with things like love, and it got me thinking. She shrugged. You don't have to answer, though. It's okay. The question took him by surprise, but as soon as she asked, Dimitri knew he wanted to trust Rose with this. She knew him so well and hadn't turned away from any of his other secrets. He wanted to be an open book for her, even if the topic was hard for him to think about, let alone speak out loud. But he would try, for Rose. No, it's fine. I don't want to have any secrets from you. This is something I've never told anyone, ever. He held her gaze, so she understood he was sincere. I also don't want it to change how you think about me. At that, his eyes shifted away, and Rose frowned. Hey, look at me. You can tell me anything. You know that. Nothing you say could ever make me think less of you. Rose's eyes stayed locked on his, unflinching. All he saw reflected back at him was pure love and affection. He continued to look at her, and she watched as he wrestled with his thoughts again before he came to a decision. Here goes, Dimitri said, sounding nervous. Rose squeezed his hand, encouraging him to continue. I don't think I realized it at first, but with Ivan, my feelings for him weren't just that of friendship. It went much deeper than that. I didn't understand the way I was feeling. It wasn't as if we saw men in relationships with other men when we were growing up in Siberia. Anything like that was never talked about. End scene. So, if you are interested in a little Dimitri and Ivan Zeklos, a little by Dimitri,
yeah,
this is a great fan fiction for you to enjoy.
Bisexual king Dimitri.
One of the tags is, oops, this got really sad. We can be sad together.
Oh, cute. I love that.
So please enjoy. And also watch The Traitors because it's such a good show.
It's a good show. Go watch.
And it helps remind you that things don't have to be sad after these really sad chapters.
Yes, so true.
I'm so excited for next week to talk about what the fuck happens after this fallout. But until next week, as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
And get whipped.
Ooh.
Ooh!
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.